Another government shutdown is here. Well, I've just randomly decided to tell you guys about it. I'm sure you've heard. As a mortgage banker, the first thing that I was thinking of was when was the last time that we went through this? And I barely remember what happened. It was, I think, 2019. I don't read off of a prompter or transcripts or anything, but I want to get my facts straight for you guys. So, in general, this may not affect everybody who's getting a mortgage, but particularly if you're getting an FHA loan, a VA loan, a USDA loan, we're dealing with government workers that may be needed. A lot of things are automated, but there's just different parts of government loans that sometimes there are other people involved. And so that definitely could cause you a delay if you're in the middle of processing through a loan or in the beginning stages and you have a quick closing, might delay you, but it just depends on how fast things change. And as everybody knows, 2025 has been ridiculous with changes and unpredictable things like the Black Swan events I've talked about a number of times earlier this year until I just gave up because everything turned into a black swan. It was no longer unique. So this is a situation where we all cutbacks, the government's going through all kinds of changes, and then in the middle of that, this happens. So I think that just like with everything else that's happened this year, it's very unpredictable. And so today I might tell you it's not going to affect most of you, and then I'll find out I was wrong on that. So I'm just giving you my best advice based on what I've been reading about. And so, again, any of the government loans, we've got staff on furlough. Sometimes underwriting gets held up before they can talk to the USDA and have their part done through the USDA. There's different times that they're in the process of working with FHA on case numbers, VA stuff. Just keep that in mind. There's also really concerning one, anybody who needs flood insurance, that's a big problem. If you have flood insurance and it's getting ready to expire, that's a problem for getting it extended. And then definitely if you need new flood insurance, that's not going to happen until the shutdown's over. That's my best, unless they pass some emergency thing where flood insurance can resume with everything else shut down. Also, just talks about the IRS transcripts that we know that happens, or sometimes we check social security numbers, they're slightly off. We need help on verifying the social security number through a service, which the IRS is involved with. We may not have access to that. And if we're already having bottlenecks because of other problems, a lot of different mortgage companies have less staff than they had during the last shutdown. I think that's something to really keep in mind. At the last shutdown, we did not have the uncertainty that we have this year. Not getting political. I'm just saying, I don't even know. Who knows? So, anyway, uncertain year, government shutdown. Already people were laid off and there was less employees. We're not going to hear about economic data, which will affect rates. People already don't trust half the data that we get fed, anyways. So I'm not even sure how that it all matters. And perception is a big deal. So we'll see what happens there. Yeah, no reports for a while. Flood insurance was a bigger problem, a bigger roadblock than at the last shutdown. Furloughs are deep. There was already layoffs, and then you add the furloughs to it. So it means everything is going to slow down processing wise. Unlike 2018 and the 2019 shutdown, the Fed may actually be cutting rates, which adds more uncertainty. When we've been waiting and wondering about rates, and the rates have gone up and down all year long, and people are talking about maybe there'll be a couple of drops more this year. The longer there's a shutdown, the more everything's just a hassle and a problem. So only control what you can control. Think about what you control. Everything else is going to play out, and we just need to be able to roll with it and try to stay somewhat informed while knowing that whatever you're taught or told might change in 5 minutes. Is that mainly conventional loans impact will be minimal unless you're one of those government workers, because that doesn't go well either if you're getting ready to close your loan and you're suddenly on furlough. The real big concern to me is the flood insurance because a lot of people do need flood insurance. You can't close a loan without it. There's no exceptions to that. That's the most troubling one to me so far. Everything else, if you have time delays, everyone knows about it. Everyone's going to do what needs to be done and be realistic and try to be helpful, hopefully. So if I find out more, I'll let you know. I just felt really inclined to just jump on and tell you. So whether it's for my customers, my fellow loan officers and processors and underwriters, reach out if you have any other questions or put it in the comments and I'll get back to you.